Robin A. Ramsey case.
For sure.
They get that comparison. We'll get to that later on in the episode, like because there is certain comparisons and stuff, but there's one major factor between these two cases. So we'll get to that later. But let's get started. Let's tell the story and get to the beginning of it. So Jaclyn Dowaliby was a 7-year-old girl. She lived in, and I'm sorry, our sources are various sources across the internet. The actual trial, I have the actual appellate court trial transcript with me and my own recollection. Again, this is a one I told people about that was sort of kind of involved in it. So I have very vivid recollections of this case. So that being said, okay, Jaclyn Dowaliby, 7-year-old girl. She was born. Hold on, let me get her birth date. Just had her birth date. Lost today a birth date.
Get it together, man.
Yeah. Oh, May 17, 1981. So she was born to Cynthia Dowaliby and God, forget.
Her second husband was he adopted
her. Yeah, her second husband, David Dowaliby, he adopted her. Jaclyn Dowaliby is not David Dowaliby's biological daughter.
Right.
She was actually born Jacqueline Marie Guest.
Okay.
That's when she was born. So she lived in Midlothian. And if you're wondering, especially people out of the country that's not from this country, Midlothian is a small suburb, south suburb, about, I would say, about 20, 25 miles outside Chicago. Yeah,
they
about
had a
around.
Popular teen club many years ago.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I think I remember that. What was the name of that club?
Oh, we have to say it if we said it probably. I remember it well. We thought we were doing something when I was in high school and we went to Midlothian.
Yeah, I remember because I'm a little younger than you. But yeah, I remember talking about that team club. I said a little bit. We went to school in the 90s, all right? But I remember them talking about that teen club, and yeah, it's a little small. Midlothian is a little small suburb, about 20, 25 miles outside Chicago. Nothing to tell you about it. Nothing ever hardly used to ever happen in Midlothian. Now I think people kind of forget about Midlothian. From where my standpoint, yeah, it's a little small. Like only like significant part of Midlothian was they had a barbecue, not even barbecue, a pork shop, pork chop shop that was in it. It's pretty popular there. But that was about it. So that's where the family moved. Lived at. They were happy. There was no problems. Jaclyn, from David's and Cynthia's recollections and stories, like she liked to go fishing. She was a nice little shy girl. So no problems whatsoever. September 9th, 1988, they were hanging out in a home. David had just came back from bowling. I think it was part of a bowling league, and Cynthia came back home from I think she had a pottery thing going on, and they hung out with the kids because there was another kid, a younger kid, Davey, who was around age 4 at that time. That was David and Cynthia's. They go in, put them down for the night. Jaclyn and Davey. Jaclyn didn't like sleeping with the lights off, so they left the light on in the closet. And from David's recollection, that he had said that Jaclyn wouldn't let him come into the room and tuck her in goodnight because she was using a catalog to circle a Christmas gift, so she was pretty excited about Christmas.
Okay.
And she was circling gifts that she wanted to pick out for herself and the rest of the family. I kind of remember that, but it was like a lot closer to after Halloween. I didn't. It was like in September. I was like, I ain't thinking about Christmas right now, unless it was like some big toy or something that I wanted to get.
Right.
But yeah, that was it. They ended up Cynthia and David ended up going to bed, and thought the night was fine. So on September 10th, David and say, oh, and mind you that in the home also the grandmother
Right.
lived in the home, but
And
she
the
went out.
younger son.
Yeah, I already mentioned younger
Oh,
son
okay.
Davy. Yeah, but the grandmother also lived in the home. She lived in the basement, but she ended up going
Hmm.
out for the night. Ended up staying out for the night because she met up with some friends, had a couple more drinks, ended up staying.
Okay, Grandma.
Yeah, hey, grandma's gonna. So again, Jaclyn's last sleep alive on that night, and September 10th, the Wallaby's alarm clock had ran at 7:30 a.m.
Mm.
Cynthia looked at the clock, asked David what was the day. He told her it was Saturday, so she turned off the alarm and went back to sleep. David was supposed to go out and play golf that morning, but he also went back around to sleep. At
Mm.
around 8 a.m., David was awakened by Davy.
Right.
David got up and went into the living room where he saw that the front door was open.
Mm.
So he closed the door and sat down to watch TV with Davy. He didn't think it was weird because sometimes his mother uh, pretty much went out and came back in. Sometimes she left the door open.
Party.
Yeah. So he didn't think that much of it. So he just closed the door, sat down, watched TV with Davy.
Mm-hmm.
Then about an hour later, Cynthia finally woke up. David brought her a cup of coffee to her bedroom. Cynthia asked, "Was Jaclyn awake then?" And David told her no. Cynthia said she was going to go wake her up. Then Cynthia went into Jaclyn's room and saw that no one was there. So she tells David, and David and her start looking throughout the house. Then they couldn't find her. So David said that maybe Jaclyn had gone outside, so they went looking outside. She wasn't there. They got in their pickup truck, then it drove around the neighborhood looking for Jaclyn. At that same time, the grandmother, whose name is Anna, came home for the first time since she had left the previous night around 10:30. When
Mm.
David and Cynthia returned home, discovered that one of the basement windows to Anna's apartment had been broken.
Right.
So immediately they freak out and call the police.
Right.
So the police said that they received a phone call from David around 10:26 a.m.
Mm.
So to report a possible break-in and a missing child. The first officer at the scene was a guy named Donald Wooddark. He arrived at Dowaliby's home. David let him in and told him that he believed there was a break-in and his daughter was missing. Then David took him outside to show where the broken basement window was, and the window was broken and a wire screen in front of the basement window had been ripped back. It
And
was
also,
partially,
like
yeah.
a mattress, right, was missing out of her room.
Oh no, the mattress was there. Her comforter was missing.
Her comforter, right?
Yeah,
The blanket on the
yeah,
mattress was missing.
yeah. The
Right.
clay on the back was missing. So pretty much he sees this as glass lying outside the basement window. The officer then walked up to Jaclyn's room and noticed the dresser with his drawers were open.
Mm.
He saw Jaclyn's clothes hanging out of the dresser and clothes on the floor. The bedroom closet light was on, and the window blinds was closed. Also, we noticed that the beds had no sheet on it. It had no
Right.
sheet on it because Cynthia had washed it the previous day and line dried it outside,
Mm.
and pretty much she wanted to go put it on, but Jaclyn was already in bed and wouldn't allow her to put the sheet on. But
Right.
they still had the bedroom sheet. That's going to be kind of important. So on the bed was an open suitcase with clothes in it and around it. So, and then the cop had noticed, their bedspread was missing, but they explained where the bedspread was. So, David told him that he found the front door, the officer, he found the front door open when he got up at 8 o'clock. So, he was positive it was closed and latched before going to bed later that last Friday night. David also told the officer that he installed a sliding bolt around 3 inches from the top of the door to prevent the children from leaving the house early in the morning. After sending out a missing persons report, the officer went back to the basement window area where he picked up pieces of glasses by their edges. He said he was looking for any blood or marks that indicated that what was used to break the window. After examining the piece of glass, the officer put them back in approximately the same place that he had picked it up. You can't do that.
Right.
Already they fuck it up. That's evidence of a possible break-in or whatever, right. And it could be fingerprints on it. Already you contaminated the area, picking up the glass and putting it back where it was. The officer's like, I'm just looking for glass, looking for blood or anything like that. It was like, that's not your job. You're not a detective. You're a goddamn patrol officer.
Right.
So already, let's fuck up number one.
Of course, yeah.
The officer also stated that Anna's bedroom, where the broken window was located, was dim and disheveled, but not ransacked. There were closed curtains in front of the broken window. Under the window was a metal rack with a clothes basket on top and 2 boxes underneath. The officer testified that when he parted the curtains to look at the window, he observed an even layer of dust on the inside ledge. This is from him. This is from the officer.
It's from the officer, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, and he mentioned it like days later. He didn't mention it right then and there.
And that's why they didn't think an intruder had done it.
Yeah, we're gonna get back to that too. So the officer wrote in his report that the method of entry was a broken basement window. He stated 5 times the entry was made through the broken window, and it didn't report the dust was on the window ledge. He didn't at first. It was, again, weeks later. So pretty much all the other cops are coming in from Midlothian, and they call for help from the state police. Hayden Baldwin, a Illinois State Police crime scene technician, stated that on September 10th, 1988, he conducted a cursory exam of the exterior and interior of the Dowaliby home. He testified that Anna's bedroom was in disarray and unkept. Inside the basement window that was broken, which was unlocked, he saw 2 cobwebs on each corner and layer of the dust on the window ledge. The curtains in the front of the windows were pulled back approximately 1/3 of a distance. Baldwin photographed the curtains, but not the cobwebs. So he's saying saying that, there's cobwebs on the windowsill, but he didn't take any pictures of it. Like, especially if you're going like, someone broke in.
Right.
But it was like,
these areas,
these areas.
They're trying to get through the window. Adult, we're assuming. So this space would be disrupted some kind of way.
Yes. So not only does the state police come in, because it's a missing girl, the FBI comes in. The FBI comes, set up pretty much comes in. It's set up like in case there's kidnappers and they have a ransom demand. Okay, we're setting up phone taps, stuff like that, surveillance all over the place. Also during that time, other family members are coming in from the Dowalibys because they know what's going on. They're trying to comfort the family, so they're going around cleaning up. This is a crime scene, and you're letting people clean up.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you have to take this evidence, you have to get this fingerprints, you have to do this, you have to do this. This is just like, oh my God, okay.
They prevented the possibility of getting necessary evidence to see who did it, especially to see if one of the known adults were involved.
Yeah, and to rule them out or rule them back in.
Right.
And you're letting the family just clean up. Someone had, after a while, one of the family members had asked, hey, can we sweep up this glass? And they were like, yeah, sure, go ahead. So they ended up sweeping up the glass and stuff like that. cleaning, washing down the tables, the banisters, stuff like that, bringing in food. It's like, no, this is a crime has happened. There's a girl missing. Like, we're trying to figure out what the hell's going on. We need to figure out what the hell's